Hello, Emily Jean if you're new here, and today I'm joined by Mr. Willard, and we are going to do a little Dollar Tree book section rating today. So we have some Dollar Trees, a lot of Dollar Trees that are pretty close to us, so I'm going to check out a few of them, share pictures, maybe little video clips from the Dollar Trees, and we're going to rate how well they're organized, what a variety they have, maybe if we find any good finds, and I'll probably haul a couple and share those with you too. So if you want to hang out with us today, grab your coffee, tea, and let's get cozy. Okay, we're at our first Dollar Tree. This is a new one to us. We've never been to this one before, and it looks pretty big, so I'm excited to see what the selection is. Let's go. Willard, what did you think of that Dollar Tree?
Good.
Good. What did you get?
There.
Firehouse. So that was probably one of the biggest Dollar Trees that I've been in so far. They had a huge selection of everything. Like when you watch Dollar Tree DIY videos, I'm guessing they have places like this because the craft section was huge. I think they probably have everything that you would look for in the store. And then you get to the book section and it's about the same as a smaller Dollar Tree. It wasn't a super large collection, but I did find one book that was rated over 4 stars on GoodReads, so I'm excited about that. Is that fun?
Yeah.
You put it through the door?
And my dump truck can go in.
Nice. So I took pictures, and once I get back and I'm sitting down at some point, I'll go through and rate size, organization, variety. I don't know. We'll put together what the rating system's going to be. Atmosphere. Okay. See you at the next place. Okay, we're at our next Dollar Tree, and I was thinking on the ride over why the other atmosphere was so not enjoyable, and I think everybody just felt so sad and run down. I don't know if that's just the way people feel these days or if it was, I don't usually feel that when I go to our other Dollar Trees, so I'm hoping this one has a nice atmosphere. It's right near a Joann's that I've been to before, but we've never been to this Dollar Tree before either, huh, Willard? What do you have in your hand that you're going to use?
Quarters.
2 quarters. Okay, here we go. Okay, what did you think about that one, Willard? My glasses are so crooked.
Good.
Good? So that one had a much nicer energy. I got one book. It's number 7 in a series, but the series looked really good and it had super good ratings on GoodReads. So I'm excited about that. And we're probably going to check out one more because it's pretty hot today and we're getting hungry. You think one more Dollar Tree?
Yeah, then food, then in the playground.
Food and then playground.
And,
Sounds good.
I mean, out the playground.
Food and then outdoor playground. Deal. Okay, join us for one more. Okay, we are at the Dollar Tree we know, and this one usually has a pretty disorganized section, but you can find some good things, so let's check it out. Huh, Willard? Okay, we made it out of our third one, and they had an awesome selection. Super disorganized, but I found 3 I was excited about. There were 3 more that looked amazing. They had great ratings on GoodReads, but they just weren't my genre. A couple of Westerns and one, I can't remember. I'll share it with you guys. I'll share a photo of it, but I was very impressed today. And now we're gonna go get some food. Okay, let's go through the books that I actually picked up. I'm so looking forward to going through these with you. I'm gonna go in the order of the Dollar Trees that we went to. Then I'll share the picture of the book section and we can rate what we thought about it. Okay, so first Dollar Tree, I picked up Titan Shade by Dan Stout. This cover just drew me in right away. I'm big fans of TV shows like The Glades and The Finder, and this just gave me total vibes like those 2 shows. If you don't know those 2 shows and you like more lighthearted detective shows, definitely check those out. But this is a fantasy thriller. On GoodReads it has 4.03 stars, only 568 ratings, but I feel like it has a lot of potential to become maybe a cult classic. Maybe not. Maybe for me, we'll see. So we've got Carter, a homicide detective. There are squibs, who are amphibious like recluses, and he has to investigate the murder of one of the top squibs, a squib diplomat. And so my guess is he gets partnered up with a squib as his partner, and there's like some animosity, and they have to like figure out that relationship together, which I think will be fun as they go through the murder investigation. They also live in an oil town where the oil's all drying up, so there's that element as well. And I just thought that it sounded really interesting. So that's the first book I hauled, Titan Shade by Dan Stout. Okay, here is our first book section from the first Dollar Tree. This Dollar Tree atmosphere is like a 1. We're gonna do a 1 out of 5 scale. So atmosphere, okay, I guess it could be worse. I'm gonna give atmosphere a 2. It was just a depressing atmosphere. For organization, this is probably one of the best organized. I personally prefer when you can see the spines of all the books. But as far as Dollar Tree goes, this organization is probably a 3 out of 5. I mean, you can see a lot of the covers. We definitely have the adults section together, the kids section. For variety, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. The only adult availability they really have is this second row and third row right here. And even part of the third row has kids' books in it. So what does that give us? 2 plus 3 plus 2 divided by 3. So first Dollar Tree comes in at 2.3 out of 5 stars. At the next Dollar Tree, I picked up this book, which is like the 7th in a series. Okay, it's the 5th in a series, but I couldn't resist because the series sounds so good. It has great ratings on GoodReads, and I'm surprised actually that I haven't heard of it before. This is Sword and Pen by Rachel Kane. The first in this series is called The Great Library, I think. I think this is the Great Library series. Trying to see if it lists the other books. Yes, okay. The Great Library. The first book is called Ink and Bone. Then we have Paper and Fire, Ash and Quill, Smoke and Iron, and finally Sword and Pen. I was thinking maybe I would just read this and then pick up the others if I enjoyed it, but it does sound like it's the final one in the series, so I think I'll save this, check the other ones out from the library, but mostly I got this because it's beautiful. It was $1.25. And I wanted to remember the series and read it. So the concept of this series is that we have the Great Library, which is like this overarching power that controls the flow of knowledge. You can like instantly call any book that you want, but you're not allowed to own your own books. So we have Jess Brightwell, who family's involved in the black market of smuggling physical books, and she is going in to be trained into the Great Library Service as a spy for her family. But it turns out, and this is the synopsis for the first one in the series, that his loyalties might be a little bit tested. So that is intriguing to me. What is he going to find out when he's in the library? What things are revealed? How is that going to play out with his family? And I guess Sword and Pen is like the Great Library is at risk or something, and we have to figure out how it's all going to wrap up. So that's the Great Library series by Rachel Kane. Did I tell you the rating? It has 4.32 stars on GoodReads, 4,766 ratings. It's fantasy YA dystopian steampunk is what it was listed as on GoodReads. This is the second Dollar Tree book section. Atmosphere, much better, clean, quiet, peaceful. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 for atmosphere. Organization, I do like that you can see the spines, but look at this mess of the kids section down here. I mean, I think these are even coloring books and not necessarily like reading books. So organization, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. And then variety, 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5. I mean, there is a good variety between like nonfiction and fiction, so I feel like it's going to be at least a 2, but there's not much to pick from. It's part of this second shelf here and a small part of this third shelf here, but I am going to say 2. A 2 out of 5 for this one. So that gives us 2.6 stars for this Dollar Tree, and the lawnmowers are starting. Let me close my window. Okay, let's go to our next Dollar Tree. And then at the final Dollar Tree, 2 books. One is like a really popular book that I haven't heard of, and that is The Orphan Collector. It had like over 20,000 reviews on Goodreads, 27,979 ratings, and 4.24 stars. It's really hard to maintain that level of stars the more ratings you go up, so I'm super excited about this. This is The Orphan Collector. It's a historical fiction, and I guess it's set in Philadelphia, 1918, and we've got the Spanish influenza going on. We have Pia, who needs to take care of her twin brothers, and she leaves them in order to go get resources, I guess. And we also have this older woman, well, I don't know how old she is, but older than Pia, who is jaded because her son died, and she's got this grudge against all immigrants because she thinks that if the doctors had been paying less attention to the immigrants, her son would have survived. So that sounds like a recipe for disaster. She sees Pia leave, and apparently the brothers go missing. So Pia comes home, has to figure out what happened, and has to see if she has the courage to like reveal what she finds out, or I guess the courage to find justice for her brothers. So it sounds interesting, potentially heartbreaking, but I feel like I'm looking forward to this because it could be like an immersive experience. I feel like you'll feel pretty protective of Pia. It might bring up a lot of emotional charge, frustration, anger. I'm also curious about the Bernice side of it. That's the neighbor woman, and like her motivations and what she ends up doing with the boys. So lots of intrigue here already. The Orphan Collector by Ellen Marie Wiseman. And then this is probably the lowest rated book I picked up, but I couldn't resist it. It had too much potential for me to enjoy it. So this is Nocturna by Maya Motain. This is the first in a trilogy. The second is out. The third is set to come out next year, 2023. It's a YA fantasy. It has 3.56 stars, over 6,000 ratings. And we have Finn, who is a face shifter, roped into a mob mission to steal a royal treasure. Then we have Elfie, who's the next in line for the throne because his brother was just murdered. So we have the two coming together, and they accidentally unlock a terrible power. I'm very intrigued by the face shifting magic, what that's going to look like, how that's going to come into play. I'm very curious if it's going to be insta-love or maybe a slow burn. I'm very curious about the magic that they unlock, or whatever this thing is, and how they deal with it. And I love starting a new series because if you enjoy it, you get to spend even more time in that world. So I'm very hopeful that I will enjoy this one, Nocturna by Maya Motain. I picked this one up, which is called Make Them Cry by Smith Henderson and John Mark Smith, which I do enjoy when books are co-written. I think there's like a slightly different element sometimes. You can think about like two minds working together, which can either go really well or not so great. But this is a psychological thriller. It's supposed to be pretty fast-paced. It only has 3.03 stars on Goodreads, only 128 ratings though, so it's hard to tell what the majority of people think about it. Mystery thriller, we have Dane Harbaugh, who's a DEA agent stuck in a dangerous turf war. So I think I'm just in a big detective series kick right now. The investigation, the partnership, the mystery, just kind of enjoying that. So I'm hopeful in this one that I'll enjoy our DEA agent, that I'll enjoy the action in this, and that it will be pretty fast-paced. So that is the final book that I hauled from the Dollar Tree. And then this is our third Dollar Tree book selection. I didn't realize how blurry this was. I would have taken another one. Normally, this is the bookstore, this is the Dollar Tree that we go to the most often probably, and normally they just have this section on the left here, but when we went, they had an end cap with some extra books. This end cap needs some love. It is dirty. It's got like a throw rug mixed in there too. But we did expand our book section, which I liked seeing. So atmosphere for this Dollar Tree, it's probably where I'm the most comfortable, so that's going to bump it up for sure. You do tend to get some interesting people in this Dollar Tree, but I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 5 for atmosphere. And then for organization, meh. I do like that they're expanding it. I like that you can see the spines. I don't like that the rug is thrown in there. I mean, they can't help what some of the customers do, but the dirt, you could definitely clean that up a little bit, I think. But I wasn't really rating cleanliness. I'm going to include that in organization though. And then over here, we do see most of the spines, but all of these piles in the middle shelf are like, eh. So I'm going to give this a 2 or a 3? 2. 2 for organization, but 4 for variety. This one had the best variety out of all of them. We have lots of nonfiction, different types of fiction. There was historical fiction, westerns, fantasy, a big variety to pick from. There are actually 3 that had above 4 stars on GoodReads. I'll share those pictures somewhere here that I might have gotten, but I just wasn't feeling the vibe of the book. So 2 were westerns that were really well rated. Those looked great. And 1 was a historical fiction that also looked really good. The Cold Millions, you can see it over here. But I ended up ultimately just not feeling like it was up my alley right now, and I'd already gotten other books that I was more interested in reading, but I did really like the variety. So that is a 4 out of 5 for variety. This monster book over here is like a vampire anthology, and I really wanted to get it, but the reviews are low. I read a couple pages and just wasn't feeling the vibe, but that cover is an awesome cover. So what does that bring us for this one? That brings us to 3.33 stars. So this is our winner for atmosphere, variety, and organization for our Dollar Tree book hauls this time. We do have like 27 Dollar Trees in Maine. I don't know if that's the right number. I'll double check. I have probably 7 that I could easily drive to around me, but I did have Willard with me, which a toddler going from store to store, we kind of run out of patience. I run out of patience sometimes, so I don't blame him. So we just went with 3 today, but maybe I'll show you the collection of the other 2 that are closest to me in another video. So this is the organization. Let me know if you agree, if you would rate them differently. Share some pictures of what your Dollar Trees look like. Okay, I'm gonna post a link where you can, or just email me the pictures to your local Dollar Trees, and then I could review everybody's local Dollar Tree bookshelves. I would love to do that. I'm so curious if they all kind of look like this, or if some have bigger selections depending where you live. Definitely, if you have taken a picture of your Dollar Tree book section or you want to, email it to me. I'll put that in the description box, and then we could do a video going through everybody's Dollar Tree sections. Okay, and that's it for the rating portion of the video. And now I have quite a huge collection of Dollar Tree books that I've hauled that I would like to start reading through. So that's our video today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I do have a link in the description box of how to find your local Dollar Trees if you're interested, if you have them near you. They are fun to check out and see which one has good variety, what kind of magical book treats you can find for $1.25. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you guys have a beautiful day whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.